Exclusive, Call of Duty 2025 is a semi-futuristic Black Ops 2 sequel. Currently known as the codename Saturn, Insider Gaming has learned from multiple sources that Call of Duty 2025 is set to take players back to the future. Speaking on other specific details in COD 2025, which are heavily in flux due to the game's early stage of development, it's understood that the game is also slated to have an overhaul to its movement system, the return of a classic Pick-10 create-a class, the gunfight game mode, and another year of round-based zombies.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We've got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty Podcast, episode number 385. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I am joined by Tanner, Dropshot.
Okay.
Who had the sterling idea to play some Warzone before the podcast today.
1 out of 10.
Fewer than.
Yeah,
less than.
It was a 0
not
out of
that
10
much.
Day, yeah. Easily the worst. How long did we play? Hour and a half, 2 hours?
It was like 90 minutes.
Easily the worst 90 minutes of this Warzone experience by far. Easily. Top 250 kids, wager kids, 4 stacking on us. I mean,
miserable rotates,
miserable audio, bad circles,
bomb drones,
unlucky looting,
hand-holding.
couldn't find ground loot early on, so we just died to awful teams because they get full auto guns and we don't have full auto guns.
It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me since the integration. Yeah,
I'm so glad I'm gone after this. Yeah,
that session. God. Yeah. So anyway, welcome to the show, guys. Today we are doing an episode on this video game. A couple things to talk about here. Nothing too crazy, which is not terribly surprising since the devs are just kind of cleaning things up before they leave for 8 months for their Christmas break. And we will cover those things as well as a nice little JGOD video that's fairly informative that we'll go into some details on. James JGOD, and a couple little leaks as well. So, welcome to the show. Before we get started, we do have a couple of announcements here. First and foremost, welcome to our new gold patrons. We got Elvis B, Blake C, and Nizzy1213. That's an interesting name. Welcome to the Patreon, boys. Very much appreciate that. Getting those ad-free early access and bonus eps, and we thank you for it. Welcome aboard. Also, we got another new gold patron, but this guy wanted to save some cash by going annual. Tyson N, our new annual gold patron, locking it in for the year. Tyson!
Little chicken strip, huh? Little Ty?
You're a little chicken nug, a little chicken nuggy patron, nuggy, yeah. He's just a Tyson N. N is for Nuggy. Tyson Nuggy.
Nugget. Dude, that's funny.
Tyson Nuggy, our new annual gold patron. Thank you very much. We will slather you in barbecue sauce and gobble you up, baby. Woo!
Let me gobble you, Ty. Yeah. Let me gobble you up.
Don't call him Ty.
You're
not that familiar, man. That's very familiar. He's an annual gold
patron. We're pretty familiar.
That's true. We are fairly familiar. So Ty, welcome aboard, little Nuggy bud. And to all of our new patrons, thank you guys very much. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Now, we will get back to the Patreon, but in addition to new patrons, we got some Christmas gifts. Santa visited our stockings. And by Santa, I mean a couple moral and righteous listeners.
There are a few.
A few, yes. So we got some offline donations, which all of you we encourage, demand, you participate in as well. And this first one is from Evan O. who said, "Merry Christmas, boys. I appreciate the content." And with that, gave us a nice 25 United States dollars. Holy
Thank you, Evan.
crap, Evan. Very generous young man. Oh, born the same year as us, it looks like. Little $25 offline donation. That is very generous. Merry Christmas to you as well. We are glad you appreciate the content, and we thank you for your charitable contribution. And you will not be on Santa's naughty list for this reason. So thank you very much, Evan. We got a couple more, though. Also, from the old dying bitch himself, Ben G gave us a little donation as well. He used the stock message, support the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast, so there was no message attached.
Very cool.
Which is fine, I guess. You don't have to give us a message. What's far important is what was attached to the message, which was a nice, whopping, crisp Benny Frank, dude.
A Ben Frank,
100 United States dollars.
Wow.
Yeah, a Benjamin from Benjamin. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
He did it.
Thank you, Ben.
He did the meme.
He did this live during the hangout. Actually, he did it live.
He did.
He sent us in.
He did do it live. Yes.
Christmas bonus. We appreciate that, Ben. Of course. Thank you very much.
We deserve it, and we appreciate it. Yes,
Yeah.
those things are both true. Moderator, friend of the pod, longtime listener, Ben G. Thank you very much. And hopefully you don't get those supplements you've been asking about in Discord, so that you forget you donated any money to us, and then you send us more, right?
Yeah.
I hope Alzheimer's is ravaging your old brain so that you'll donate us more money because you don't think you did. That would be interesting, right? Just ravaging, just mogging your brain, your prefrontal cortex, running through it, dude. That's what I hope for. But, maybe I would hope for your good health and all that good stuff as well. So anyway. Obviously, I'm joking. Ben, thank you very much, dude. That's extremely generous. We really appreciate that. 100 big bones, dude. And, for being around and modding. And actually modding. Not just hogging the title. So thank you, Ben. Very kind of you. And last but not least, we got another donation. Also with no message attached. Also an old dying bitch.
A little bit younger.
Marginally younger, yeah.
Maybe at least a year younger.
This is from Chris W. Chris W. Bush. I don't think Bush is his last name. It's not, actually. Looks like a Polak last name, in fact. Is that correct?
I don't know what it is, to be honest. I'm not really
Looks
sure.
Looks Polish to me. Polish or Czech? It's one of those two, probably.
I know he's white, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, yeah, I know he's white, too. Trust me. And it's not a good last name, to be clear.
I think it's kind of cool. I like it.
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't like it.
Well.
I would say it, but we don't dox our supporters. Anyway, this is from some guy named Chris, Tanner's slightly less brother-in-law. And again, with no message attached, he just went into the donation link and dropped a massive whopping, get ready for it, 500 United States
Jesus Christ. Wow. Oh my God, somebody likes us.
Outrageous, dude.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
He must have felt bad. He must have felt bad because I was begging him for his leftover TV. Were you? Yeah. So I guess he gave us some money so I can buy my own TV. God dang. Are we allowed to sax, or is that going to ruin the whole episode?
It'll ruin the whole episode.
Okay, cool. Just know that I'm saxing in my head.
We were going to make $500 in ad rev, so it's up to you. But
yeah, I wonder how much ad rev we'll lose. Hundreds,
too much,
thousands?
So don't play it.
Yeah.
Do a $1,000 donation, and then we'll hit the sax for you, because we can't lose the $5 of ad rev max that we would get. Chris, thank you very much. Obviously,
thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate that.
That is very generous.
Yeah.
That is slightly more than we expect from every single listener as a donation. So you have in fact gone above and beyond slightly.
Wouldn't it be funny clear. Now if
Slightly.
like so Ben came out on top at the time, donated $100. He was like the first person to donate. We're like, wow, thank you, Ben. And then we said at the hangout, I was like, it'd be a fun game for the patrons to play if they kept donating $1 more than the previous person. Wouldn't that be hilarious if like the next patron
be really funny. That would be a funny joke on us.
It would be so funny. God, that would make me laugh. So anyways, the fact that Chris did 500, that means someone has to do like 501, right? Because you can't let him be the best, you know? That's just embarrassing to let him be the best. He's already Obsidian, and then you're going to let him donate the most? Like, what is wrong with you guys?
I agree.
It's embarrassing to be you guys. I can't believe you. Yeah.
Shameful, in fact. Yeah. I would say. Yeah.
That would be such a funny game, man.
It would be really hilarious and goofy.
Yeah. So goofy.
And so if anyone's feeling whimsical out there, we will shout you out. I promise.
Got a few, 4 more days till Christmas. You guys got plenty of time to make it happen.
So the most time. Chris, Chris, thank you very much again, dude.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Really gross. We really appreciate it. It's extremely generous. We are humbled and grateful. And thank you. Another person that, well, he is a mod, but he doesn't actually moderate, which I guess is fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll let it slide.
Yeah, we need an oil prince in here. You're right, Mike. Somebody get an oil prince in here.
We need some Saudi or Brunesian listeners. Anyway, none of you know that's a country. Thank you very much, Chris. That's insane. I don't know what to say, but we really appreciate that. And hopefully you have a good Christmas. And since Tanner won't be around you, I suspect you will. And then Ben, thank you again, of course. And Evan, thank you again as well. Merry Christmas, especially to all of you and to all of our patrons. The rest of you, it's fine.
Merry Christmas to you if you are a Damascus patron, Obsidian patron, or donated at least $100. Otherwise, it's not a Merry Christmas to you.
Otherwise, you're getting cold.
It's a happy holidays. That's what I'll say. I'll give you that much. Happy holidays. I'm not telling you.
It's a happy holidays. Yeah. If you're just a listener, you get a happy holidays. Yeah. Anyway. Thank you, boys, very, very much. Now back to the Patreon. We have finished recording all of our Patreon episodes except for our behind the scenes. We will be recording that for you Damascus patrons after Christmas, so we can talk about that. So that'll be coming very late this month. But we just recorded our second and third gold Patreon bonus episode for this month, which all of our patrons will be able to listen to. One of which is now live. 2 of which technically are now live. But the most recent one was a Warzone second impressions. And that was a fun little ep. It's been live, I think, for 2 days now. Tanner and I kind of revisited our first impressions of Warzone, which was a public episode, amended some of those things. And then we talked a lot about some new impressions we have. One of which was that the matches are too fast. And I am noticing it now more than ever after having realized it when we were recording that. But there are some things about, there's something going on in Urzikstan.
Something wonky with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had more good impressions. We had more bad impressions. And then we also, as always, sprinkled in some little nuggies of knowledge, some Tyson nuggies of knowledge. So that was a good one. And that's now live. That was a really
good one, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also finished recording our Resurgence Brainstorm, our first ever Resurgence Brainstorm. That will be available to our little patrons the day after Christmas for all of our patrons.
Only if we get more donations. You'll cancel the scheduled post if we don't get more money.
I could always do that. That's true. Yeah. But that was a fun episode as well. And there was a lot of storming going on in those little brains of ours. It got very stormy. It got like Cat 5 stormy. Yeah. I thought that was a super interesting episode. And I've already been doing some of the homework assignments from it. You know, there was a lot. in that episode. And one of the through lines was, now that we have essentially 5 Resurgence maps, I don't think you can really talk about what you should do in Resurgence anymore. Because now I think a lot depends more than ever on which map you're playing Resurgence on, which is a super interesting and different new kind of twist on Resurgence strategy and loadouts in general than we've ever had. And we explored that topic a lot, that theme a lot in that episode. And there were like 5 ideas that I wanted to try. Some of which I've tried, some of which I have not yet. So we'll eventually revisit those things. But I thought that was one of the more productive brainstorms we've ever done. Like there were a lot of new ideas kind of flying around. I really liked that one. And that'll be going live on the 26th for all of our patrons. Golden up. So yeah. How do you think that one will be received?
Yeah, I hope there's no like new overpowered meta discovered in these next few days before it goes live, but I don't think so. But yeah, it was interesting to talk about like the actual different maps, how much I think the loadouts actually vary from map to map. Yeah, like things from perks, lethals, tacticals, even what guns you're running. It changes a lot based on what map you're playing. It's going to be interesting to get more into that when we get Keep here in a, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months or so probably. So yeah, that was a banger.
Yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, for you patrons, keep your eyes out for that. And then other than that, last announcement is Saturday. We've also pre-recorded that episode. That sucker's scheduled. The way we did that so we will have our normal Saturday episode, and the early access audio will go live for our patrons on the 22nd, the morning. So if you're here live tomorrow morning, you'll be able to listen to that ad-free early access on audio. And then on Saturday at our normal time, 12 p.m., it'll hit the regular apps with ads, chocked full of ads, to be clear. So if you want to not listen, I recorded an ad read, by the way, to put in there. So it's chocked full of ads. If you want to listen to the public feed on Saturday, we'll be going live at 12 p.m. Pacific. And then on YouTube as well, it'll premiere at 12 p.m. Pacific. So it's going to be at the normal time, but it is pre-recorded. Now, luckily, the subject matter is totally fine to pre-record. It is our camo grind tips for Interstellar Part 2. So we did Part 1 where we covered all the base camos and all the gold camo challenges for all the guns in multiplayer. And then for Part 2, we revisited some of those where we learned new things. So like, for example, we didn't know at the time we were doing the grind or when we recorded Part 1 of the episode that quick grip gloves or ordnance gloves, either one, I believe, we were clear about it in the episode, makes you throw your tacticals faster, like a lot faster. So we would have said in Part 1, by the way, use those for the stun kills, where you need to kill 25 people who are stunned, because that's going to make it way easier and better. So there were like quite a few little nuggets like that relating to the base and gold camo challenges. That's how we start Part 2, which is coming out Saturday. And then we go into all the exceptional, what are they called now? Forged and priceless challenges as well. And we have some pro tips on pretty much all of them. And then we ended that episode with kind of a talk about the camo grind itself. Did we enjoy it? Was it fun? How would we design it differently? How long did it take, etc.?
Too short.
It was a long episode. It was like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And it was really fun to record. More fun than I expected it to be. And again, like if you've already finished the camo grind, like I said, there are some tips sprinkled in there that will be helpful to know, even if you're done camo grinding. Or at the very least, it'll be interesting to listen to because you're like, oh, I should have done that. or hear our thoughts, on the whole grind itself. So
Yeah.
that's going to be going live on Saturday. You guys can be here. I'll be here live with you watching, but Tanner's going out of town. So that's why we pre-recorded it.
Out of town, out of city, out of county, out of state line. Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah. So that's going to be fun. And then next week, we will see what the schedule is going to look like. Keep your eyes on the Twitter and the Discord. So, other than that, do we have any other announcements? Okay.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Okay.
And once again, Ben, Chris, Evan, thank you boys for the donations. That was very appreciated. You did not need to do that. And we will take it.
Yes, thank you, boys. And men. Boys and men, actually.
Boys to men. They went from boys to men by donating, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
All right. Boys and girls, welcome to episode 385. So, as I said, not too much going on this week. The big hubbub is, of course, the seasonal event stuff, which is now live. So they've written a blog post about this. We've already basically covered everything here, so we're going to just fly through this blog post.
Yeah, it's being flown through.
All of that is to say all the holiday events and stuff are now in the video game. So they wrote a blog post on it on the 19th, so 2 days ago. CODMAS is here, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of words, big words. Santa's Sleigh Ground is in. There are words. There's some unique calling cards and other kind of rewards for participating in these things.
Oh, it's an event. Okay.
Yeah. So there should be like an event tab. You can look at that and track your progress. Some cool rewards in there. And then themed maps. So Shipmas. So this is Shipment, but it is, I mean, they say it's Christmas themed, but it doesn't look Christmassy at all. It just looks colder. They didn't make holiday Shipment. They made Shipment colder though. That's all it looks like actually. There are no Christmas decorations. It's just now snowing, and there's snow and ice on the map. This is the worst holiday map I've ever seen. I'm not kidding.
It looks cool. I mean, it looks freezing. It looks better than the regular Shipment we have right now. I just have one tip for you guys. I would just keep your head on a swivel. Avoid joining the other corpses in the cold storage. That's what I would do.
Stop.
Maybe even pack your ugly sweater for it.
Stop.
Okay.
The next one is very well redesigned.
Oh, wow.
Hangover, which is High Rise. Now, unfortunately, this is the worst map in the game by far.
High Rise is
however, this is a good way to Christmasify a map. We've got a snowman. We've got the classic Christmas lights. There's a disco ball for some reason. Okay.
It looks dope, man.
It's High Rise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. And then Rust as well. I don't know why that's not here, but Rust also is called Tetanus. And it's like green and weird looking, which is cool, I guess. So anyway, new LTMs. We'll get to it. I don't know why they didn't put it here. So Infected is in, but everyone's holiday themed. Snow Fight is a gunfight mode. That's in. Okay. Zombies has some stuff going on. Sleigh Ride Resurgence comes to Warzone.
Okay.
So you can take on Santa on the seasonal train.
Yeah, you like load in. There are like Christmas tree icons on the map for where the trees are. There's some other items you can land on. Some things you can do. Yeah, I guess regular BR got nothing. I guess regular Battle Resurgence didn't have anything, huh? We didn't experience
I didn't see anything in Battle Resurgence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I did not get any holiday presents today in Warzone, so anyway, Deck the Halls is another thing. It's capture the flag, capture points in Resurgence. Oh no, so it's just It's just like the holiday trees that have the good loot in Resurgence, I suppose. I do want to play this Resurgence mode. It looks kind of cute. But anyway, not much going on there. And then the event is called Face the Vortex. So again, this is where it's like you go to the event tab, like the Makarov event, and you can get rewards or whatever. I haven't looked into that. I played this morning, but I didn't check the tab. Here are some pictures of Tetanus, which is just rust with even more dust on it now. Cool. Looks cool, Halloween, I guess, Christmas. But it's whatever. And then Satan's Quarry.
Dude, you can't see 10 feet in that corner. It's so dusty.
Yeah, that's not good.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Quarry, I guess, got a revamp as well. Just looks like hell.
Yeah.
Which, to be clear, it always is. I mean, it's a terrible map.
Why did they actually choose like the bottom 5 maps in the game to make Christmas themed? Quarry,
it would have been cool
awful.
if they made a good
Rust,
map.
awful. Shipment, awful. It's Shipment. High Rise, the worst COD map in 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, not That's great. Cool. So anyway,
choose better maps next time.
They did choose a great one, Spore Yard, which is Scrapyard. This is actually the coolest looking one too. There's a bunch of like UFO-sized jellyfish floating around.
Yeah, floating jellyfish.
And it's all like glowing. Whoa, this is cool. And it's a good map, too.
I wonder if it's some sort of like fungal infestation, because the glowing blue flora is spreading throughout the whole map.
Well, okay.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then there's a sweepstakes, I guess, for a...
Oh, this hasn't began yet. Okay. So this starts on January 3rd and ends on the 17th. Got it. Okay.
And that's what I said. Yeah.
Cool.
I think some of this stuff is in already. But not all of it?
Not the Vortex stuff. It doesn't... I mean, I think everything is in aside from this Vortex.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that like event thing hasn't started yet, but either way, whatever.
Yeah.
They're fun little holiday stuff. There you go.
And they're doing a, like you said, fake giveaway. You can enter, but nobody will win. Let's be super clear. They will not pick a winner. It's just a scam. So yeah, very cool.
Yep. So moving on, we have a couple of tweets. These are more substantive changes that have been made this week. This is from @CODUpdates on the 15th. We've deployed an update to disable the use of snake shot with the tier handgun in public playlists. So yeah, I think we already talked about this. Maybe it could have been on Patreon.
Not really,
We've been recording a lot this week,
yeah.
so I don't know. But anyway, the really broken akimbo tier snake shot pistols, they just took it out, which is great. And they say they're going to like fix it and then add it back after the holidays. Same with the Maelstrom dual trigger attachment on the MW2 Lockwood 300 double barrel shotgun. They have just removed it because it was really broken.
It was one tapping at 50 meters like it did in MW2 at one point.
In Warzone on fully plated enemies, yes. Yeah. So that was really broken. And that was taken out like inside of 24 hours. So kudos to Call of Duty for doing that.
Don't say Call of Duty, Raven. Kudos to Raven.
Kudos to Raven. Yeah, that's a great point. Just cleaning up before they go on break. I'm very happy they took that out as well. And then this other tweet was today. A fix was recently deployed to address issues players were experiencing while playing on servers in Western Europe. We will continue to monitor feedback should the issue persist. So yeah, if you're in EU and the servers have been bad, maybe they're better now.
Yeah, there have been a lot of people complaining about that. But like I said, they seem bad here too when you play at night. I feel like it was just that, but I don't know. It's obviously they think there was some other issue. They claimed they fixed it. But let's be super clear, it won't fix the servers still, but they did something to them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, first year since we've done the pod where there isn't something broken, awful, unplayable, bug-filled. I mean, it's actually just Warzone.
Before they go on break,
Can you believe it? Unless somebody figures something out in the next 24 hours, doesn't seem to be the case. I think we're in for a playable Warzone experience at Christmas.
Yeah, I think
We
you
have, like,
might
a
be
clap
right.
track.
I don't know
No,
if
we
anything else will be discovered. I certainly hope not, but it would be great. And this is why, as we talked about like 2 weeks ago, I was very, very pleased to hear that season 1 was happening early December so that they would have time to do exactly this, which is release the update, let kids figure out what's insanely broken, and they'll still have time to address it before they go on their holiday break for 2 weeks or whatever. And they finally did it. So yeah, big kudos to Raven on all of this. Yeah, Warzone will be playable when they in fact leave their desks, which is good. So
They already did, yeah. They're gone. They're all gone.
So anyway, other than that, that's pretty much it. Yeah, as was to be expected, not much has changed this week besides just some housekeeping on their end, which they have done a good job of. And it's a pretty light week. Hello all and Merry Christmas, or soon to be Christmas. I'm going to keep today's little ad read short, but today's podcast ep is sponsored by us and our Patreon. You get ad-free episodes, you get early access episodes, and you get bonus episodes. We've done a Warzone brainstorm earlier this month, and then also we did a Warzone second impressions episode that just went live on the 20th. So that's live right now if you're hearing this. That was a really fun episode. Tanner and I had a really good time. We kind of revisited our first impressions and then also talked about some new kind of observations and things to keep an eye on, mainly related to Urzikstan, although we talked a little bit about Resurgence and, you know, Ashika, Vondel as well. But anyway, wanted to keep this short. Patreon.com/thedropshot. If you've enjoyed the podcast, if you wanted to support, if you want to get some benefits, you can check it out. And we hope you have a great Christmas, New Year, and we'll see you soon. Let's get back to the show. So the next thing we're going to get into, JGOD has released a video on YouTube.
Yeah.
JGOD, friend of the pod. And it is an in-depth analysis to varying degrees on all of the perks in Warzone, many of which are new. So there is a lack of clarity about a lot of Warzone perks where it'll say, you know, like Mountaineer, you take less fall damage. It's like, okay, there are numbers here. There are details here. You just don't know them from just reading that perk though. So JGOD tested a lot of these perks like that to provide more clarity on what actually they do and give more details than the game gives you. Now, I will link the video in the show notes. If you want to go watch it yourself, you can do that. I'm not going to talk about every single perk, although he does go through every single perk. I'm going to talk about the ones that are not obvious and self-explanatory. So for example, Tempered. Everyone knows what Tempered does, and the description is completely clear and accurate. It works as intended. All the information you need is in the description of the Tempered perk in-game, so I'm not going over it. But here are the standouts, and there are actually quite a few. So starting with perk slots 1/2, Mountaineer. So Mountaineer is, again, a perk where you take less fall damage in Warzone. So he tested this. Without Mountaineer, you can fall from 13 meters without dying. You will take damage, but you won't die. Any higher than that, and you will die. Mountaineer doubles this distance. So with Mountaineer, you can fall 26 meters without dying. So that's actually pretty good. And this is something Tanner and I talked about on that Resurgence brainstorm you guys will hear next week. You patrons anyway will hear. Mountaineer for like Vondel, as he says, could actually be quite good. And you can afford to take it if it's in slots 1 or 2. It doubles the distance that you can fall from. And I would imagine that also means falling from 13 meters with Mountaineer won't leave you one shot. It'll leave you with like 60% of your health or something. So it's also good for that as well. So it's like actually a really slept on perk, which is good to know. It's quite effective at reducing fall damage, basically.
Jake needed that in that fire station tower, huh?
I guess he did, yeah. He was not mountaineering that day.
Was that building a fire station?
Warzone! It was a fire station, yes.
Okay, why do fire stations in Warzone have a tower? Do they think fire stations in real life have that? Why do all the fire stations specifically have a tower? What is with that? I just thought about it.
Do fire
they all have
stations have towers?
No. What are they on a fire lookout up there in a city? No, of course not, man.
Yeah, that's
Why
true.
do they make them that way in Warzone? That's interesting.
In fact,
funny.
The fire station we died at is directly under a hill. It's like, we rotated from high up on a hill down to the building.
Yeah, so they need some fire lookouts.
The same hill you can see from the ground. Yeah,
what is with that? Why do they always do that with fire stations? Huh? Even in Warzone 1 it was that way. Some guy just designed them that way and they never thought about it.
Yeah, I didn't either. But anyway, that's what Mountaineer does. So sleight of hand. This increases your reload speed. And that is in fact what it does. But the difference is it varies a lot depending on which gun you're reloading. And it seems to be pretty random. So one gun will reload 25% faster with sleight of hand. A Boss B is an example of a gun that benefits a lot from sleight of hand. Whereas other guns will reload like 5% faster, which is still something, but it's very minimal. This just varies from gun to gun. He recommended you like tinker with it and use it or don't, depending on the guns you're using. I wholly reject that. I always want faster reload speed, whether it's 5% more or 25% more, especially when there is just not that much competition in slots 1 and 2. So just use sleight of hand, but just know that it's not like it always increases reload speed by exactly 20% no matter what gun. That's not how it works. But it does seem to always increase your reload speed by some amount. So it's never completely useless. It's just sometimes barely useful, depending on the gun. That's good to know. Double time works as intended. That's it. Now, the reason I point this out is because double time is a very popular perk. It doubles your tac sprint duration and reduces the refresh time. And according to his testing, it does exactly that, which is good to know. So if you thought it was just all in your head or whatever, it's not. Double time works as intended. So you can keep running it.
Very cool.
Irradiated. What did you say?
I said very cool. Double time works.
Oh yeah. Irradiated. This is the perk where you take less gas damage and you move faster in the gas. Unfortunately, he did not test how this interacts with gas masks, but it actually doesn't really matter. So basically with irradiated, you move 10% more quickly in gas than if you don't have irradiated. And you also take 10% less gas damage with this perk. Now, 10% faster might sound like a lot, but you know what will get you out of gas even quicker than that? Running double time instead, where you can tac sprint twice as long. So, number one, not worth it for the movement speed increase, because someone with double time is going to get through gas faster than someone with irradiated. That 10% speed boost is not going to make up for having half the tac sprint of the guy with double time. Oh, but I could run both. No, you can't. You're running sleight of hand as your other perk. So stop it. It is in fact a competition. So for that reason, it's not worth it. Well, taking 10% less gas damage sounds pretty good. Yeah, but it's not though. You will, if you're at full health without irradiated, you'll survive 15 seconds in gas. If you do have irradiated, you'll survive 17 seconds in gas. So you get 2 extra seconds. Is that worth it? No.
No. God, no.
Super not.
Not even close.
Yeah.
That's so bad. This would have to be like Dude, if you could survive, I mean, an extra 10 seconds in gas, 12 seconds, like essentially doubling it, I would still never run this. Like, actually, just ever. It's
10 seconds I probably would, but...
Well, you don't make it to late game most of the time, so...
Well, I do.
Okay.
So, KD check?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can if you want. It's probably not accurate.
We can.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, this is an awful perk, and you should never take it.
Correct. And also, it's unnoticeable, because I actually tried this perk before this video came out when I didn't know any details, and I forgot I had it on. When I died in gas, I remembered, and I was like, oh, okay. That was not substantial enough to be worth it. It felt that way also. But yeah, the verdict is in. It's not good.
Yeah, you could feel the little movement boost, but if it's only 2 extra seconds in gas, yeah, no. That's a big no.
Yeah, and again, the movement boost just isn't worth it because you're giving up double time. And that's going to get you through gas faster. So yeah, it's just not worth running for any reason. And then Flinch is the last perk in slots 1/2 that I will talk about. When he talked about it, you can go watch the video. It seems like he did not test it. He was like, yeah, I don't know. It's not very good, but if you're sniping, you might want to take
focus, you mean?
Yes. And that's what I said.
You were saying Flinch. I was like, is there really a perk? I didn't even know. Okay.
No, it's called focus. And that's what I said.
And that's what you wrote down in the notes too.
And that's also what I wrote down in the notes. That's correct. You might have come down with a acute case of dyslexia, but if you check the notes right now, you'll see that it says focus, which it's always said. Yeah. So if you run that perk, anyway, he was talking about it and he said, I don't know, it's not very good. If you're sniping, you might want to take it to hold your breath longer, but it doesn't seem worth it. He kind of glossed past it. It seemed to me like he did not, in fact, test it. So I don't know if you get longer hold breath duration. That's what the perk says. And that, I think, might be worth taking if you're sniping. But I don't even know if it does, in fact, increase your hold breath duration. Because he didn't test it, or he didn't talk about it. And I haven't tested it either. So if you're not sniping, obviously, definitely don't run it. But if you're sniping, maybe run it. Maybe not. I don't know. I would imagine it does increase your hold breath time, though.
I think Ace tested it.
The question would just be by how much.
Yeah, I thought there was like an Ace test or something, and it was like a second to a second and a half. It's not
second and a half is not
much
bad.
Longer. Nah, I mean, what is the standard hold breath time? Like 4 or 5 seconds? From like when you click the button?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's.
I wonder if it depends on the sniper too.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, it's like the way it usually works is I ADS, I see some guy on a head glitch, I get my reticle close to him, I hold my breath and I shoot. So like for most situations for me, you don't even need longer hold breath time.
Yeah.
That's how it usually works. The only thing is if like you're trying to shoot multiple people off head glitches and you hold breath down one, then the other guy peeks and you don't have enough there to hold your breath again. That's when it gets you. So, you know, maybe valuable for that. But yeah, am I ever dropping this for double time or sleight of hand? Probably not.
Yeah, it's definitely not for double or for sleight of hand. And probably double time even if you're sniping is probably better. So yeah, but anyway, there you go. So now moving to slot 3, a couple interesting things here. Tracker basically works as you would expect it to. But one thing the description says is that enemies will have death markers. So like if your teammate or if you kill an enemy, there should be some kind of marker that you and your teammates can see that indicates that an enemy died there. This is not the reason you would run tracker anyway, so this isn't that big of a deal. But those death markers do not appear. Again, not that matters very much. You wouldn't be running tracker for this reason, but it does not work exactly as the game says. You don't get this benefit that it says you get. And Tracker's probably not worth running unless maybe you have like a resurgence build of some kind. But anyway, the Survivor perk is buggy. I refuse to explain to you in what ways it's buggy. I know what ways they're buggy in, and I could explain them to you now. I'm choosing not to because whether or not it worked as intended, it's not worth taking. You just find a medic vest. That's all. It's not. Survivor's buggy, okay. And even if it wasn't, it wouldn't be worth taking in slot 3. So doesn't matter. So super don't run Survivor. Cold-blooded is underrated, he was saying. And I tend to agree with him for reasons we will get into in a second. But spoiler alert, cold-blooded counters high alert, which a lot of people are running. But we'll talk about that more when we get to that perk. Suffice to say, cold-blooded does work as intended and as described in game. So cold-blooded will work if you're trying to counter high alert, but we'll get into that in a second. Stalker is another one. This is where you get increased movement speed while ADS. So JGOD said it's 15% additional movement when ADS, which is not very worth it, is what he said. I tend to agree with this. He also said while moving, but in multiplayer, when you're using Stalker boots, you don't get 15% more ADS movement speed. You only get ADS strafe speed, which is important because that only increases your movement speed when you're moving left or right, not when you're moving forward or backward. So that makes it already substantially worse. Does it work? Do you get the movement speed bonus in Warzone while ADS and moving forward or backward? I don't know. I doubt he tested it. So I wouldn't be surprised if this also only gives you 15% when strafing left and right. And even if it did work for every direction, 15% is not bad, but it's not great because think of what you're giving up here. Quick fix or tempered. Probably not worth it.
Yeah.
So he also said it's not worth it. And he was like, if it was 30%, maybe, but yeah.
It could vary from gun to gun too, which I'm sure he also didn't spend time testing because I think that's what Ace discovered, right? Like from gun to gun, it was a little bit different. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the same from everything.
Yeah, I think it was the same for everything.
Okay.
I think it was 30% in multi, right?
No, he was saying no. He was saying in older COD games that had that, it was 30%.
Oh, that's what it was.
I'm pretty sure it was less. It's less than 15 in multiplayer. I think multiplayer is only like 7%. And that's what he was saying is something like 30 is what it used to be, and that's kind of what it would have to be around to make it even worth running.
Yeah. So, anyway, there you go. It could be interesting for sniping, as Andrew just said in chat, though. Having increased ADS strafe speed. Probably not, actually, in Warzone. But I don't know. It's something to consider. But 15% is the number. That's what's important. And then there's another perk called Primed in slot 3, which is basically just how assault gloves work in multiplayer. When you jump in this game with no perks, your hipfire will bloom way out. So you'll lose a bunch of hipfire accuracy and accuracy mid ADS while you're doing that. Primed gets rid of that. So your hipfire will stay normal while jumping, which is really good for like multiplayer hipfire builds, but for Warzone, far less relevant. And then also you get 15% faster aim down sight speed while jumping with this perk. Again, that's something, but not worth it.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, if you're jump ADSing in Warzone, what does the gunfight you're in look like? Well, you're obviously using your sub, and this guy's pretty close to you, 10 meters away. So if you're using your sub and you get a 15% ADS discount, your sub probably already ADSs in like 180 milliseconds. So 15% off of that would be like 23 milliseconds. That's nothing. Is that worth giving up quick fix or tempered for? No, definitely not.
This,
So,
I think,
underwhelming.
again, would be a little bit more interesting if you just got like 15% faster ADS times always.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Then
Yeah.
that could be, because that is something you would even run. If you got 15% faster ADS on like a sniper build, that could quickly
I'd run that on every gun.
Yeah. Well, maybe not every gun. Like things like quick fix would still be really, really good in, you know, like resurgent and things like that. But I think they need to give some sort of a boost to base ADS speed to make that perk ever worth running. Even if it's not as fast as like the jumping speed, you know, maybe the jumping speed ADS is 15%. Even if they just made base ADS 7% faster, something like that, 10% at the most. Make it more competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, only while jumping just makes it so like niche that it's not worth giving up like tempered, which is literally always good.
Yeah.
Or quick fix. It's too niche. But it has some usefulness, but yeah, it's just a lot of competition there. And then slot 4. So flex is one of the perks in slot 4. This is the one that you delay trigger enemy explosives, reduce combat noise, and warns of enemy equipment is what the perk says. What that means is, which I think we've already said, you get an audio cue if there's enemy equipment around you. It'll be like you know how they use the old people use the metal detectors on the like beach?
Yeah.
And they look for like metal, gold or whatever. And it's like beep, 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 beep. It's like that. It's like a proximity beeping that gets more rapid the closer you are to enemy equipment. Probably not worth it. Unless you want it for the... If you're going to take flex, it's probably for the reduced combat noise so you can think you hear enemy footsteps better, which you probably don't. But it's not for this. But that's what that warns of enemy equipment means. It gives you an audio cue. Bird's eye. This does a lot of things. It says it does a lot of things. So basically, when you pop UAV, if you have bird's eye or a comms vest, which is lootable, you will see enemies on your UAV even if they are ghosted and moving. So it just counters ghost. One of the things it says it does is your UAVs sweep faster. So they'll still last 30 seconds, but you'll get 15 sweeps instead of 10 or whatever. That's how it's supposed to work. It doesn't. It doesn't sweep faster. Yeah. But every other benefit does work. You will see ghosted players. You do see directions, but your teammates don't see the same directions. And yeah.
Yeah.
Super not worth taking, in my opinion, because there's the comms vest, which is lootable, and it gives you the same exact benefit. Although maybe it is worth taking in like quads for one of you or something, but there you go. Next is high alert. So high alert, you will get your high alert to trigger if someone is looking at you up to 100 meters away, which is really far away, by the way. So if anyone's not on your screen and they're looking at you and they are 100 meters or closer to you, you will get the indicator, the orange indicator. The 100 meters number is the revelation here. That's what the game doesn't tell you. And that's really far. That's like 90% of the time you're getting shot, even sniped. You're usually getting sniped inside of 100 meters. So high alert's really, really, really good. And this is why JGOD was saying cold-blooded is underrated, because if you have cold-blooded on in slot 3, then when you're looking at someone who has high alert, their high alert won't trigger, because that's one of the benefits of cold-blooded. It would be the only reason to run cold-blooded, to be clear, but it's a pretty good reason. And cold-blooded, I think, is one of those things where if I'm playing quads, I'm not running it because I can't convince all my teammates to run cold-blooded, so it's not really going to matter. But if I'm playing duos or solos, cold-blooded is really attractive, especially if you're like sniping, because then you can just line people up who are in windows in adjacent buildings. And even if they have high alert, they won't know you're there. Because 100 meters, again, is a long range. So it's pretty good. But it's good to know high alert's very powerful.
Yeah.
And then the last one is resolute. So resolute is where when you take damage, you get a movement speed bonus or whatever. The bonus movement speed is roughly 10% more movement speed. And it lasts very short, according to JGOD. So you do move faster when you take damage. It's 10% faster, but it lasts like actually less than a second. So it's fairly underwhelming. And that was what JGOD was saying too. He's like, if this were to be good, it would need to last longer. But 10% I think was the most interesting revelation here.
Yeah. I guess usually it would end up lasting longer because you're getting shot more than once. So if like somebody shoots you with one bullet, yeah, but it's like when I used it, I never thought, oh, this doesn't last long enough. But it's because you're getting shot numerous times as you're still moving away, as you're getting that speed boost. So it doesn't like feel like you get hit and then it just immediately ends. Didn't feel weird in that way, but that makes sense now.
Yeah.
And I think
that's
what I said. It was like 10% because it felt just about like the stim speed boost pretty much.
Yeah. And that's a question I have is like, if I'm getting hit with bullets like constantly, do I just now basically have a permanent 10% movement increase until they stop hitting me? Because that is pretty good. Like, you know,
yeah,
that's pretty strong. If there's no cooldown on getting the movement effect.
Yeah.
Which he didn't say there is. So I assume it does work that way. So
yeah, I'm not sure why it wouldn't.
Is it better than high alert though? That's for you guys to decide. I don't think so, but I haven't tried it since week 1 of the integration. So I will revisit this. And I'll revisit it on Resurgence as well. We talked a lot about Resolute in that Resurgence brainstorm for you patrons. That's going live next week. So
nowhere
anyway,
that would be good
for that video.
Inside
what?
Those, it would be good on keep inside those big buildings where you lose sightline often. So you're going to lose high alert constantly. It'd be really good for that. True. Getting around the map.
True.
But
yeah. So we talk more about that in that, as I said, that bonus episode that's coming out next week for you patrons. Keep your eyes on that. That'll be the 26th. But that's it for this video. I will link it once again in the show notes. As I said, he goes over every single perk in varying degrees. These were the perks that I thought were worth covering.
Yeah.
That were not like super obvious or whatever. Does this change any of your decision making in terms of Warzone perks?
Yeah, I may start running cold-blooded. I may start doing that. Because I usually don't ever... When I get kill cams 10% of the time, I usually don't ever look at their perks. And for the first time today, when we were playing in those sweaty lobbies, I was looking, and every single time the person did have high alert. Because they were all top 250 players we were fighting. They all had
and
top
if you're
250
like playing
cards.
quads and you're the only person sniping, I actually do think cold-blooded might be worth it.
Yeah.
Because you're often looking at people no one else is looking at.
Yeah.
So you actually would get a benefit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this has made me revisit cold-blooded for sure. And Mountaineer, but we kind of already knew that from his tweet.
Yeah, Mountaineer just unbundled, nothing else.
Yeah, probably. And Resolute. So yeah, this did change a little bit of my thinking. But yeah, once again, you guys can go check the video yourselves if you wanted more details. Sure. Now, moving on to news and upcoming changes. So not much here, but we did get some stuff. Take it away, buddy.
First stuff of the some stuff. Coming from insider-gaming.com from Tommy H, Thomas Henderson, Tom Hendy, Tommy Hendy, yeah.
Wallace Wenderson, yeah.
Wallace
Friend of the pod,
Wenderson,
the
okay.
only reputable leaker.
Exclusive, Call of Duty 2025 is a semi-futuristic Black Ops 2 sequel. Currently known as the codename Saturn, Insider Gaming has learned from multiple sources that Call of Duty 2025 is set to take players back to the future. And no, I don't mean we'll soon be playing as Marty McFly in the dock. God damn it, Tom. but never say never. Instead, Call of Duty 2025 is slated to be set in the very slight future. Call of Duty has not had a game set in the future since 2018's Black Ops 4. Insider Gaming understands that COD 2025 is currently in development as a direct sequel to the Call of Duty Black Ops 2, being set around 2030. Black Ops 2 is set in 2025. So this is a sequel to that. As such, fans should expect the return of some fan favorite... Don't care. As previously rumored, Black Ops 2 remastered maps will be coming to the game, but recent plans and the scope of the game have changed significantly. Previously, the intention was to have all of BO2's remastered maps released on launch, similar to how MW3 was this year with the old MW2 from 2009 maps. The current plan now is to launch with new maps and remastered maps in conjunction. Although only one source would comment on the change, it was speculated that the game was likely in response to widespread fan criticism that painted Modern Warfare 3 as a glorified DLC to its 2022 predecessor. True. MW3 had just 16 months of development thanks to lack of higher-up planning and internal changes that led Sledgehammer Games to be under immense pressure and crunch to deliver a premium COD title on time. Blah, blah. Despite the game's apparent shortcomings it's been said that the game did tremendously well, with Infinity Ward already well into development on its next Modern Warfare game. Speaking on other specific details in COD 2025, which are heavily in flux due to the game's early stage of development, 22 months away. That's when this game is coming out. It's understood that the game is also slated to have an overhaul to its movement system.
That's interesting.
The return of a classic Pick-10 create a class, the gunfight game mode, and another year of round-based zombies. It's currently unclear if the carry forward from COD 2024, which is Treyarch's game coming out next year, which is Black Ops Gulf War, is what it's supposedly going to be called. So yes. It's unclear if the carry forward that we had from MW2 to MW3 will be incorporated for those two games, due to the significant time jump and change in the game's overall strategy. This is a completely new game, it was said, suggesting that the game may not. That's
pretty much it.
That's pretty much it, yeah. So, wow. I was kind of hoping it would be another carry forward type thing to an extent, because I think that specifically really helps when it comes to Warzone. It does actually kind of make it seamless. Like doing a jump from Gulf War era to 2030, whatever I said, I don't know. I could see that being very weird in Warzone, unless they're already slating now. That's the point when we get, quote, Warzone 4 or whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's when it wipes again and it's a start of a new Warzone game and Treyarch's designing a battle royale map for that. Because the rumors are for Gulf War, so in about a year from now, we will be getting Verdansk back. I'm sure we will have the MW2 guns. I'm sure we'll have the MW3 guns in the game. And then we'll get Treyarch's guns added to the game. And then maybe, slight movement changes next year. And then I bet with this game is when we get Warzone that feels like it's on a new engine again. Like from Warzone 1 to Warzone 2. It's going to feel like a totally different game. I bet that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Obviously, to be clear, this is very far away, especially in terms of like video game stuff. Mm-hmm. Like we don't even have COD 2024 yet, let alone COD 2025. However, there are a couple of things that are pretty interesting here. What does this say? Hold on. An overhaul to its movement system. So it's going to be 2030 in-game lore, whatever, plus an overhauled movement system. So it's not going to be jetpacks, probably, almost certainly. I don't think we're ever getting that again. But what else could an overhaul to its movement system mean? It might be like boost packs where you can jump really high or something like that, because I don't know what else an overhaul to movement means, unless we just mean a step backward where we get way less fluid movement than we have now. That would be an overhaul. It would just be in the wrong direction, and I don't see them doing it. So if we're going to get more movement capability, which is what I think this heavily implies, but we're also not going to get like full jetpack COD flying, which I don't think we're going to get, then I think the only thing that could mean is like, yeah, you'll be able to get like, you'll basically just have operators that can jump really high. Or maybe operators will have like Ruin grappling hook by default.
That's what I was thinking when it came to like Warzone. Too. If it's like on a new quote engine, whatever you want to call it, it feels different, is maybe something more similar to Blackout, which had grappling hooks and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know what that means either, because like Treyarch games already feel a lot different than Infinity Ward games, Sledgehammer games. Like the game coming out in 2024, there probably won't be tactical sprint. So I don't know, unless he just kind of means stuff like that.
Oh, that could be, yeah. But yeah,
but I mean,
them not having
he knows Treyarch
be
games.
An overhaul.
Yeah, that's true, because he knows how the movement is in Treyarch games. So I don't know. I don't know what that would mean.
Yeah.
But interesting.
That is interesting. And then the return of a classic Pick-10 create a class, I don't believe it. I don't think we'll ever get like a very classic Pick-10 ever again. I mean, maybe with like the wildcard system they did in BO4. I could actually maybe see them doing that. That is possible. And then round-based zombies, I'd be shocked if we didn't get that in COD 2025. So overall, yeah, I don't know. It's so early that I don't particularly care. I'm having fun with this game. Hopefully I have fun with the next game. I'm not going to start worrying about COD 2025 yet. Yeah. But I mean, none of this is a red flag at all to me. I think this all sounds pretty good. I like Pick-10. An overhauled movement system, I think sounds very interesting. If we got like just grappling hooks, that would be really cool. That was, it was one of the most fun parts of BO4 was playing as Ruin and just
it was the most fun
flying around the map.
Yeah.
You know, that was really cool. And by the way, if you'll recall, it was also very loud. If Ruin like grappled behind you, you would know it. So it wasn't like overpowered. It was just really solid.
And it was on a fairly slow cooldown, wasn't it? You couldn't grapple that often. Yeah, you couldn't
just spam it. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. So
yeah,
that would be really cool. Or even just giga jumping, which I could see them doing. Having like jet boots or something. So then you can, maybe it would be like a double jump type thing. Or just when you jump like 10 feet high. That would constitute an overhaul as well, I think.
I'm just not...
And I could see them doing that.
See, I really can't, because they care so much now about the casual player and selling games and player retention to buy bundles. Anything like that is going to add a skill gap to the game that's going to make casuals not want to play the game at all. Like, think about it if everyone was running around with Ruin in BO4. Like, if it would be that way in multiplayer, for example, yeah, that would kill the player base, honestly. It would only be sweaty players still playing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's hard to imagine what else an overhaul could mean. So
yeah, anything to do with like jetpack, something like that. I don't know. I just can't see a jetpack game coming back to COD at this point ever.
I don't think we're getting a full jetpack game ever again. Yeah, I don't think that's what it means. That would constitute an overhaul, but yeah, that I think is too much of a skill gap where you can actually like hover for a while like Pharaoh in Overwatch. I don't think we're getting anything that crazy because that would be a massive skill gap. Although, keep in mind, the aim assist of 2025 is going to be a lot stronger than the aim assist of the last jetpack COD. So they might be thinking like, yeah, it is a lot of a skill gap, but if everyone's aim is really, really good, then we can kind of head that off.
Yeah.
And it won't be as punishing to casual players. That's also true. So like the aim assist now is way stronger than it was in Advanced Warfare or whatever. So So maybe they would go back to it. I don't know, but I guess we'll see. I don't have much else to say on that though.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, and then last little
Let's get
thing
through
here.
this year.
Yeah. A few more days. Last little thing here. Bobby Kotick is officially leaving Activision Blizzard on December 29th. So the thing about this I'm confused on. So many people are like retweeting this and responding to this tweet.
News, yeah.
That's what I'm at. Like, this was big news. Everyone's like, oh my God, like Microsoft kicked him to the curb, or like he's finally being forced out to leave. I'm like, he literally said 2 years ago, 3 years ago at the start of the acquisition, 2 years ago, probably whenever it was, when the sale goes through, I will be leaving the company. So it's very weird that everyone's like, finally, we got him out of here. I'm so glad he's gone. I'm like, okay. I mean, we knew he was, yeah, he said he was going to leave. Like, what?
Yeah. That's why I was confused too.
Like, people are making it sound like they think Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft, basically let him go and said, you need to go. That's not what happened. This was always his plan to leave. But anyways, he's officially leaving now. Not that any of you will ever notice any difference in the games of him being there and him not being there. Let's be super clear. It won't make a difference. But
yeah,
maybe for the employees it makes a difference. The one that were getting allegedly raped, allegedly threatened to kill, things like that. So yeah, all sorts of things. But very cool.
Yeah. Well, the R stuff isn't very cool, but him leaving, I guess, is fine. Yeah, I agree with you though. I saw like everyone was tweeting about this, and I was like, we already knew this was happening, guys. Why do we care so much? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And as if all you care about is like playing Call of Duty, you will not notice this at all, like Tanner said.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to be way more impactful on COD is going to be Activision being acquired by Microsoft. Like, that will probably have some repercussions for the player base at some point in the future. Whether that means different servers, so we have more or less tick rate, that's possible as a result of the acquisition. I don't know, a different development cycle, so maybe not a game every year. I strongly doubt it, but that would be something that's possible. Different development studios heading different things, all of that kind of stuff maybe will happen. But it's not going to be because Bobby left. It's going to be because Microsoft took over. So, like, yeah, I don't get it, but whatever.
I remember what I saw now. It was people were claiming he's leaving now because they just talked about Epstein's list being released. I'm like, you guys are just insane.
Oh, and
I'm like,
he was in the little black book.
He was supposedly in the tiny black book. Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly,
so it's like,
supposedly.
oh my God, people will make like a just stop. He said he was going to leave the company. They've been purchased by Microsoft. The sale went through. They've acquired them. It's been a few months now. Everything has calmed down. He's leaving. That's just probably how it was always going to be.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
By the way, there are a couple of bigger, more important names than Bobby Kotick in that book, like former heads of state.
Yeah.
So, like, let's, if Bobby Kotick is in fact in the little black book, if he was on Little St. James doing nefarious deeds, I mean, that should be known. That's bad, obviously, if true.
It's not very good.
You know what would be worse? If William Clinton was also there when he was the president of the United States. That, for example, that would have been a little worse, right? Yeah. So let's relax with the Bobby Kotick witch hunt here. I mean, I don't know, whatever. It'll come out or it won't. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. That's it. That is it, boys and girls.
Enjoy your retirement, Bobby.
Enjoy your retirement. I'm going to be also retiring for the next week. We've got all of our stuff scheduled. It's fun and exciting. So hope you guys enjoyed. Have a Merry Christmas. Don't forget, on Saturday, an episode is still going live at the normal time. It is our Camo Grind Tips Part 2. It was a long and fun episode. So be here for that. And we will see you guys next week. Let us know what Santa got you and give us the gift of your patronage at patreon.com/thedropshot.
True.
Stay humble.
Stay humble.